So, welcome. And the first thing I'm going to talk about, I'm just going to give you one tip a day. And it's not going to be hugely long, because usually I talk too much. So, today, I'd like to talk about, people often contact me and say, how do I get into acting here? What do I do? What agent do I go to? Do I need an agent? How do I get onto Outrageous Fortune? How do I get on TV here? So very random, broad questions like that. In other countries, it's very much more specific. You know, you understand that you're going to do a 3-year drama training to get into the industry, and that will give you the attention from the agents that you need while launching yourself into a career as an actor. In this country, it's very different. You can join a commercial agency as an extra, and you can do extra roles and some speaking parts. These agencies, the first thing that they require, on whatever tier they're at, either the lower tier, or I shouldn't really say lower, I should say they specialise in different things. So an agency specialising in extra work, there are many good ones, and they will require photo of you to be able to promote you, even if you've had no experience at all, you've just done a play at school, or you haven't done any training at all. Of course, I'm going to advocate training, but you can join one of these agencies without having any training. There are 3 main tiers of agencies here. You've got the rung of the ladder, which is your extra work, mainly talent for extra work, for commercials, mainly commercials. And they tend to have a lot more people on their books. The photographs that they require when you go and interview with them, either they will take or they will require a full body shot. Usually if it's for commercials, you want 2 or 3 different looks, and a headshot. The top agent, which is on the 3rd tier, for example, of which there are about 7 or 8 in Auckland, they require the actor's headshot. So these are actors who you're going to take yourself a lot more seriously. You're going into the industry to become an actor, and that's going to be your main living. Which is debatable here. You know, even actors here have 1 or 2 jobs. I've always taught as well as acted, but taught mainly in the last 20 years. Okay, so there's different types of photographs required for different types of agencies. And the very first thing that you require, if you want to just join an agency without any training or anything, is a really good, either a headshot or some really good shots of yourself. Now, if you want to private message me, I can give you advice on good photographers that can take your shots. The photo that winds up on the casting director's desk, having done casting for 5 or 6 years in commercials, film and television, is so important. That photograph of you is going to get you your interview, going to get you your audition. And that means that you don't just go to an agent and give them a photo of you with a cat, even though it might be a really cute photo with you standing there looking cute with your cat. No, you need to, in the beginning, you need to invest to get results. And even if you're an actor who's been acting for years, your headshots may need updating, and then you may experience a new kind of flux of energy in your career, because as actors we have to keep on top of our headshots. It's very, very easy. I've got headshots that I was using for, 5 or 6 years. Well, that's way too long, because unfortunately, life does have a habit of changing us, and we need to be well represented in our photographs. So I'm talking a lot, so that's coming to the end of tip 1. Very first thing that you've got to do is get your photographs done. I can recommend a photographer for you to go to, and we can choose. I can also help you choose. It's very important that you choose the right photographs out of the ones that you have taken. And I've talked about the first rung, which is basically your extra work agents that do commercials. They also do, so they might do the extra work for Shortland Street. They also may do some walk-on roles as well. And then we have our middle tier, or our boutique agencies, who are in the middle. So naturally you're going to go, the more experienced you get as an actor, you're going to go from your beginning agency, which is mainly getting experience on set and extra work, to an agency that will put you up for acting roles, and that casting directors will approach for speaking roles in New Zealand television or commercials. So the middle tier will require you to have had some training or experience. That's not necessarily the case if they see a lot of natural talent in you and you're a certain age or young, you have a lot of natural talent, you might get taken on. But my advice is of course going to be get some training, which I'll be giving you some advice on as well. So the middle tier would get scripts coming from abroad. They would get from America as well. They would have their top actors in their most experienced actors in their pool of actors, and some people stay with that middle agent because they get on very well with them and they're doing well in their career and they're happy there. The next step is the agencies that require you to be very dedicated, to be always available for your jobs, to be taking acting really seriously, so it's not just a bit part thing, and to be investing in your career with a good amount of, if you're not going to be spending 3 years to go to drama school, which we'll talk about, or a 1-year course, that you have done lots of different classes. There's lots of good teachers in New Zealand doing independent courses and independent classes. So you must understand with your training that, you know, if you have a leak and you call a plumber, you're not going to be happy if that plumber hasn't trained and doesn't know what he's doing. And although I've worked with in television in England, I've worked with some wonderful actors who are very good and they're doing very well and they haven't trained. Their training has mainly been on the boards or in front of the camera and just doing it. And there isn't that wealth of work in New Zealand. There isn't so much work casting here. So it's been a very great pleasure to talk to you about tip 1, which is the photograph.